Hi, today we're going to talk about how to do even peyote stitch. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is put on a stopper bead. You can do that by putting on a bead, pulling it down to the end of your thread, leaving about 3 or 4 inches of tail, and then stitching through that bead twice more, like I am doing right here. Once you pull it tight, you're good to go. The next thing that you're going to do is pick up an even amount of beads. So here I'm picking up 8 of the 3mm cubes. Then what you're doing is you're going to pull it down to the end of your thread, like this. Next, you're going to pick up another cube, and you're going to stitch in the opposite direction through the 7th cube that you put on. So I'm skipping that 8th, and I'm stitching into the 7th and pulling it snug there so that the 8th cube and the new cube I just added are sitting snug together. Now I'm going to pick up another cube, and I'm going to skip the 6th and stitch into the 5th, like this. I'm going to pull it tight so they're sitting snug together. So you're going to continue to do that. You're going to pick up a cube, you're going to skip over the one next to the cube that you're exiting, and you're going to stitch into the next one. You're going to continue doing this down the number of beads that you chose. I chose 8, for you it might be 10 or some other even number that you chose. Once you've stitched into the last bead, or the first that you added on, what you're going to do is you're going to start stitching in the opposite direction. You're going to add a cube and stitch in to the one that's protruding out a little bit. So now basically what you're doing is you're adding a cube in between each of the cubes that are protruding out from the piece. It kind of becomes like you're zippering. You're just adding a bead where there looks like there's a gap. Once you've reached the other end of your band, like I have here, what you're going to do is you're going to add a cube, and you're going to stitch directions by stitching into the next cube, and you're going to add a cube between each cube that protrudes out from the piece, and you're going to continue that down the number of even beads that you chose. So this is it. This is peyote. Once you've reached the end of the band, you're going to switch directions and start adding more beads. You know, what's really cool about even peyote is that you can do it with nearly any type of bead, and you can use it to create very cool patterns. For the purposes of this video, I chose to do cubes, and I chose one color to make it easy to show how to do it. But it really can be used to make some very cool designs. Now, let's show you how to end peyote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double half hitch knot. So I'm going to stitch into the gap between 2 of the cubes, and I'm going to create a loop, and then I'm going to thread my needle through that loop twice and pull tight, just like I did right there. And then I'm going to stitch my needle into one of the beads and just pull to kind of tug the knot into one of the beads so you can't see it on the side there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that needle down, and I'm going to pull the stopper bead off of the tail thread. So once I've pulled that stopper bead off of the tail, I'm going to thread it with that needle. Once I've got that threaded, we're just going to do the half hitch knot with the tail thread. Once I get it threaded. Okay. Yep, so we're just doing another half hitch knot. So again, once again, that's just creating a loop and pulling through that loop twice and pulling tight. Now I'm gonna stitch through one of the cubes and pull tight to pull the knot into one of the cubes, and I'm going now to burn the threads off. So if you don't have a thread burner, you can just as easily cut them off. I just happen to prefer the burner. All right, and there you have it. So this was Even Peyote. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Buffalo Bead Gallery for more how-to beading videos.